Hello and welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see very important articles that appeared in our Hindu newspaper. First of all, I'll let you know important topics of the day, and later on we are going to see each and every topic from prelims and as well as mains point of view, and at last I'll be giving you prelims practice questions also, guys. Online students, please don't skip this video anywhere. Please do watch until last. Okay, let us see the topics of the day. The first one is Royal Bengal Tiger. There is one image related to Royal Bengal Tiger in International Edition of Hindu. So I took this. Why? Because this time we are going to have first ever summit of International Big Cat Alliance. Because of this, you have to know important 7 species which are conserved under that project. Okay, here we are going to say some facts regarding this Royal Bengal Tiger, and this time you may get a question on this because there are many articles related to Sundarbans also, especially related to mangrove redevelopment and conservation projects of Government of India. Especially this Royal Bengal Tiger is seen in this Sundarbans area. If we are protecting this mangroves, obviously we can protect this animal species also. So because of that interconnection also, this time you can expect a question on this Royal Bengal Tiger. And this is important from your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. And next topic is the crumbling of Awadh. This article is talking about one important report released by CAG. CAG full form is Comptroller Auditor General. Gave one report, it is about conservation of certain monuments in this place of Awadh. So this topic is important from GS paper 1 under history. And next topic is CII says private sector capex grew by 67% in September 2025. This article is talking about capex. It is nothing but capital expenditure. So here we have to see why this private sector capital expenditure had been increased and what is the impact of increased capital expenditure in our country on our economy. So this topic is important from economy from GS paper 3. And next topic is cost to assess. The opportunity cost of assessing medical care remains high. Recently we discussed about four labor codes implementation in our country. Yes, can you recall that article? In that article, government said that we are going to provide free medical care, especially free medical checkups for the people who crossed 40 years. Can you recall that point? So here now recently government launched a program for medical care or medical checkups for this 40 years people who are working in different areas in manufacturing sector. So because of this, this article is in news. So this topic is important from GS paper 2 under health. And next topic is advancing India-South Korea defense innovation ties. This article is talking about India-South Korea relations, which is important from GS paper 2 under international relations. So these are the topics now we are going to see. See this image, guys. This is image of Royal Bengal Tiger, guys. Okay. So actually this image had been taken from one zoo in Mumbai. So just to see about facts related to Royal Bengal Tiger. Okay, scientific name here is Panthera tigris tigris. From this time onwards, even you have to see scientific names of animals. Why? Because last time they gave a question on the scientific name also in one statement based question. So the scientific name of this Royal Bengal Tiger is Panthera tigris tigris. And the conservation status, if you see under IUCN Red List, it had been listed under endangered category. And under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, it is getting utmost protection. Under the CITES, it is under Appendix 1. Okay, and this year marks 50th anniversary of CITES. That means in 2026 prelims, for sure you may get a question on CITES. You have to see what is the full form of CITES. And we have how many appendix under the CITES? 3 or 4? 4 or 3? Environment is done. Think once again. You have to see how many appendix are there and what does this appendix means, and you have to see when the CITES came into picture and what are the important aims and objectives of the CITES. This time whoever who are writing this 2026 prelims, keep star mark, you may get a question on CITES for 100% sure. Okay, next one is, if you see the physical characteristics of this tiger, if you see the body size and length, adult male can reach around 3 to 3.2 meters, while females are slightly smaller compared to that of males. And this one is, weight is around 200 to 300 kg for males, and female it is 100 to 180 kgs. That means there is a clear sexual dimorphism. What is sexual dimorphism? Just by saying it, we can identify whether it is male or female. That is called as sexual dimorphism. We can see this sexual dimorphism in this tigers clearly because of this height and as well as weight. And if you see the color of this tiger, it is bright orange or reddish yellow in color, which will be having dark black stripes on it. Okay, and each tiger will be having a unique stripe pattern. The stripes is not same for tigers, it is different. So because of this, for counting the number of tigers, one important parameter we'll take into consideration is stripe pattern. So how humans will be having unique fingerprints, in the same way tigers will also have this unique stripe pattern. So because of this, government launched a program called as M Stripes. This is 2019 or 2020 prelims question also. M Stripes is in news. It is related to counting of tigers. Okay. So like that, you may get a question, whichever it is in news. So here stripe pattern is unique for each and every tiger. So for that counting of tigers, we launched this program called as M Stripes by NTCA. What is NTCA? National Tiger Conservation Authority. And it is counting and it is seeing the different stripe pattern to count the number of tigers in that area. So UPSC asked question on that M stripe. What is it? And next, if you see the eyes and vision, tigers have large eyes with excellent night vision. And if you see the limbs, they have very strong muscular limbs, and they have tail to balance what whenever they are running or walking or turning. While hunting, to maintain the body balance, they have tail. And gestation period is around 3.5 months. For humans, gestation period is 9 months. For tigers, it is 3.5 months. If you see in PYQs, they gave in 1980s or 90s the question in this way: consider the following animals, arrange them based on the gestation period in ascending order. That means they asked to arrange animals based on their gestation period. So which animal will be having more gestation period as of your knowledge? Elephant. And which is having shortest? Based on the animal which is given there. You have to remember one thing, like size. Size is less, the gestation period is less. Size is more, the gestation period is more. So like that, if you know that, obviously you can arrange animals in that format. So this kind of questions also asked in UPSC. That means you have to know even gestation period of animals. Okay, now how can you expect a question here? Directly you can get a question on International Big Cat Alliance, because this time in the month of June we are going to have first ever meet of this International Big Cat Alliance. You may get question in this way: consider the following statements regarding IBCA, and they may give you statements and they may ask you which of the above are correct or incorrect. That is the first format. And second here is they may ask you about that animals. So which of the 7 species which are protected under this IBCA program? Tigers, lions, cheetahs, leopards, snow leopards, jaguar and puma. In India, in these 7 species we have only 5. We don't have jaguar and puma. And in the remaining species which are present in India, we have Project Tiger, we have Project Snow Leopard. And recently snow leopard is also in news, right? So you may get a question on snow leopard. Last time in 2023, the question was related to lions and cheetahs comparison. They didn't ask question about tigers or leopard. So this time they may ask about tigers and leopards. So in that way, you have to think and you have to move on. Okay, are you understanding? You see this next article, guys. The crumbling of Awadh. Can you see the title? So this article is especially talking about CAG report. CAG is nothing but Comptroller Auditor General. CAG came up with a report, and this report says that many monuments in Uttar Pradesh, they have faced extensive encroachment. What is the meaning of encroachment? Illegally occupying that area, right? So this article is saying that here you can see one important area. Here what can you see here? Nearby shops. Yes. So here this article is saying that whatever the money which is given by the government for conservation of monuments, who will take care of monuments in our country? ASI, have you heard about this ASI? Archaeological Survey of India. So government will be providing funds for the protection of monuments in our country, which will be taken care by Archaeological Survey of India. And what this CAG will do? Controller Auditor General. That means it will audit. What is the meaning of audit? So how much money you are getting and how you are spending. So it will be saying money received and money spent and exactly where you are spending the money, whether it is useful expenditure or whether it is wasteless expenditure or whether there is any scam which happened, whether there is money underutilized or overutilized. So like that each and everything report will be done by CAG in our country. So here we have Ministry of Culture. Do you know this? Ministry of Culture. So which will be focusing on protection of culture and as well as history in our country. In that it will be also take caring of this important monuments in our country. And now Ministry of Culture is giving certain allocation of funds for maintenance of these monuments to ASI. But here this report identified that illegal encroachments are happening in many of the monuments. And here now our heritage conservationists, they are saying that without immediate intervention, the composite and legacy of Awadh will be lost. So Awadh played a very important role in our history. Yes, if you read your medieval history or even in the modern history, many a times you will study about this Awadh. Awadh region played a very important role. That means what are the monuments which are present in that area, if we are not protecting now, can we show that legacy to our next generation? For sure, no. So here the reason which mainly the CAG report is pointing out is if government is not taking immediate steps, obviously we will lose many areas in Awadh because of illegal encroachments. So here how can you get a question? You may get a question on CAG because in your polity, Lakshmikant, in especially in this constitutional bodies chapter, you will be seeing about this CAG. Yes, and even the parliamentary committees also you will come across this CAG. Okay, if any constitutional body which is in use, that means you can expect a question on that. How can you expect a question? Consider the following statements regarding CAG, and they may give you 3 to 4 statements and they may ask you which is correct or incorrect. That is the first format of question. Second format of question is apart from CAG, even Election Commission of India is in use. Yes, and even we have other bodies which are in use. Can you tell me? CAG is in use, ECI is in use. Next, UPSC 100 years this time. Yes, 2026 marks 100 years of UPSC. So how can you get a question? A pair-based question can be formed. If you want to give a question, if these 3 or 4 constitutional bodies are in use, how can you frame a question? Can you frame 4 questions on these bodies? It is not possible, right? So then they will give you pair-based question. In that pair-based question, on one side they will be giving you UPSC, ECI, CAG, and on another side they may ask you constitutional bodies or articles. And next one is they may ask you like what are the functions, and they may ask you to identify correct or incorrect pairs. Yes. So here the second format of question you can expect here is pair-based question from constitutional bodies which are in use. And this time UPSC marks 100th anniversary. For sure you may get a question on UPSC in your prelims case. And if they want to ask, like they may add some other bodies and they may give you pair-based question. Okay, next one here is, here archaeological survey is involved. You may get a question on this Archaeological Survey of India. Are you understanding? Okay, and next one here is they are talking about Awadh. If you see from art and culture point of view, do we have only monuments in this Awadh? Will you accept it? No. throughout our country during different periods, during medieval period or modern period or whatever it may be. So we have developed lots of monuments, and India is very rich in culture and its heritage. That means they may give you a pair-based question on monuments and the states they located. Yes. So like that you have to make your notes. Are you understanding? Okay. Now let us see the context. This article is saying that CAG report, Comptroller Auditor General of India, released a report, and this report highlights that there is a severe neglect, encroachments and institutional failures in protecting centrally protected monuments, especially in this Uttar Pradesh. In Uttar Pradesh, what are the monuments are there to be protected? So there is no proper protection of this monuments because of encroachments and as well as institutional failure. Okay, if you see about this report, what exactly it is saying is, out of 487 protected monuments in UP under Archaeological Survey of India, in this 31 monuments are untraceable. That means they completely disappeared. Okay, 487 out of that 31 are completely untraceable from the records or locations. And next one here is, only 31 monuments have proper ownership documentations, and 96 monuments they face encroachments, and many sites they suffer from neglect, structural alterations, inappropriate conservation work, and as well as poor maintenance. And they gave examples of Awadh or Lucknow, that is Kadam Rasool monument, which is collapsing with wild undergrowth or jungle, and illegal shops are happening, eateries, stalls, or encroaching on Chota, Inambra region. So all these are the things which are mainly highlighted here. So majorly this report is saying that Archaeological Survey of India is not taking care. It is a failure. And this one is many monuments are disappearing. And this one is illegal encroachments of shops is happening, especially eateries, everything is increasing there. Okay, that is about the details of this report. Okay, now let us see about this CAG. CAG is a constitutional body, and which article talks about it? Very important, Article 148. As per Article 148 of the Constitution, which talks about Indian Audit and Accounts Department. And this CAG is responsible for safeguarding of the public purse, and even it will take care of overseeing of financial system of both central and as well as state governments. That means whatever the funds which are allocated to the ministries, so how they are spending, everything will be done by this audit. Okay, audit is conducted by CAG. It will be taking of both central and as well as state levels. And CAG upholds constitution and parliamentary laws in financial administration, and is one of the key pillars of India's democratic system. Okay, and next important point you have to see is appointment. Appointment of CAG is done by President, and the tenure here is 6 years. Very important. If there is any important institution in our country, obviously the tenure will be more than 5 years. So which organizations or which bodies will be having a tenure of 6 years? We have UPSC and we have CAG, and other examples ECI. So which should not be touched by government. Obviously their tenure will be more. In that way you have to remember. And until the age of 65. Okay, that's it guys. And if you see the removal of this CAG, it is removed by President, and on the same grounds of process of Supreme Court judge, which require a special majority. Even ECI is also, even CEC also be removed on the same grounds of Supreme Court judge, and as well as CAG. Okay, see this article guys. CII says private sector capex grew by 67% in September 2025. So keyword here is capex. Capex full form is capital expenditure. So what is the meaning of capital expenditure? We are spending money on development of infrastructure. That is called as capital expenditure, right? So now this article is saying that there is increased private sector capital expenditure. What does it mean? Private sector are spending more in infrastructure development in our country. So what happens if there is increased capital expenditure? Is that a benefit or not for the government, for the people of the country, or for overall economic development? Is that good or bad? So if there is increased laying of roads, bridges, and proper transportation facilities, everything, is that good or not? So here you have to think about what exactly the meaning of capital expenditure, and you have to see what is the impact of capital expenditure. And from prelims point of view, you have to see about this CII. CII means Confederation of Indian Industry. If you see the context, it says that Confederation of Indian Industry, that is CII, highlighted that a sharp revival in private investment with increased capital expenditure, and now it is around 67% seen in our country. Okay, this is a report released by CII, full form is Confederation of Indian Industry, and it says that there is increased capital expenditure. So if you see findings of this report, it is saying that capital expenditure increased around 67%, and it did analysis of around 1200 companies in our country. And next one here is, especially they are focusing on this manufacturing sector, and this manufacturing sector is investing in this capital expenditure. Why this manufacturing sector is investing in the capital expenditure? If we are having a company, if this company is producing 1000 units of any product, for example, and if it is producing in this company, if that products are there in this company only, means will that company will be getting profits? It has to sell. If it is selling, then only it will be getting profits, right? So for selling, we have to take that product from one area to another area. For that, we need to have good infrastructure facilities, good logistics, right? Okay, so here they are laying in this kind of roads, better transportation system, better logistics, so that it will be helpful for that company, and as well as that will leads to overall growth and development of our country. This is a win-win situation for both private sector and as well as our country as a whole. So that is this article. Are you understanding? So now private sector are investing in this capital expenditure, and there is increased capital expenditure, and there will be development in our country, especially manufacturing sector or focusing on development of roads, improving of logistics, everything. Okay. So now let us see what is the impacts. The first one is, it is a positive signal. If you are having good private investment, it will leads to overall development. So if you are focusing on investment, we have two types of investment. One is government investment, second one is private investment. Till now, the government used to invest more on laying of roads, logistic development. If government is investing more on this capital expenditure, what happened? Overall burden on the government will be increased, yes or no? Already government is having financial crunch. Less revenue, more expenditure. It is always having deficit only. So if further government is spending more and more money on this kind of expenditure, what happened? It will be not a good situation for our economy. So because of this, whenever we are having this private investment, then obviously we can say that this is a good push for our economic growth. And this one here is, it will obviously boost our GDP, because if you are having good roads, good logistics, that so and so company will produce more and it can transport more. And if you are having good infrastructure, obviously we can attract foreign investment. They will come and they will invest in our country. That will lead to overall improving of our GDP, and even industrial output growth will be increased, and whatever the manufacturing sector growth or manufacturing sector is contributing to our GDP will be obviously increased, and infrastructure creation can happen, and obviously we can generate more and more employment opportunities, more and more jobs, and we can reduce unemployment. And if you are creating more and more jobs, obviously we can help that family to come out of poverty, and we can also improve health and development indicators of our country. Clear? And we can also attract more and more foreign investment, and as well as we can also improve in our stock markets, everything. Okay, see this next article, guys. Title says the opportunity cost of accessing medical care remains high. You have to remember or recall what we discussed in an earlier class. I think last month or before 20 days we discussed this article. We are implementing labor codes in our country. In that implementation of labor codes, we discussed about gig economy. So now gig economy workers will be getting social security benefits under this social security code. And under that we also discussed that government will be providing free annual health checkup to workers who are above 40 years under this new labor codes. Yes or no? Can you recall that point? Okay, recently Union Labour Minister said that we are going to implement this labor codes on the ground level. Under that, one provision they said is every year whoever more than 40 years are there, for them free annual health checkups will be done. Okay, so here now government implemented this program of free healthcare checkups for the people who are more than 40 years and who are working in this industries. Because of this, it is in news. Now you guys tell me, if government is providing this kind of free health checkups, is that good or bad? It's good only, right? Why it is good? If our workers are healthy, then only our company will be healthy, right? If workers are not healthy, what happens? Efficiency will be reduced. If efficiency will be reduced, overall productivity of our company will be reduced. So if you want to improve the productivity of our company, efficiency of our company, to improve the profits, obviously healthy workers are very important. That is from this industry point of view. So if government is now providing this free healthcare checkups, what happens? Obviously there will be increased burden on the government or not? Yes, government has to pay. If I am going to any hospital and I am taking the certificate that yes, government is providing free healthcare checkup, I am going and I am doing that. Means if in case I am not paying, government has to pay money for that so and so hospital or diagnostic center, yes or no? That means there will be increased burden on the government. So here this article is saying that opportunity cost of accessing medical healthcare remains high. Okay, so this article is saying that yes, government announced all those things and government is saying that we are going to provide free healthcare checkup for all who cross this 40 years who are working in this manufacturing sector or industry sector. It is good. But on another side, it will lead to increased medical care cost. So what exactly you have to see? First important point here is recently Union Ministry of Labour and Employment launched a nationwide initiative. What is that initiative? Free annual healthcare checkups for all workers who are above 40 years of age. And this scheme inaugurated on 7th May, recently 7th May 2026. And next one here is what is the aim of this initiative? To improve occupational health care and social security framework of our workforce. And not only that, they are focusing on detection of NCDs, that is non-communicable diseases among these workers at a very early age, so that we can try to prevent them or we can try to manage them. So this is the main aim. The first one is to improve social security and as well as to identify non-communicable diseases early in those people. What are the key features of this program? The first one is who are eligible, who crossed age of 40 years are eligible, and each one is the healthcare will be done once in every year. Okay, annually they will do this free healthcare checkups. And who is implementing this? Very important, ESIC. ESIC is nothing but Employee State Insurance Corporation. Okay, Employee State Insurance Corporation. That means they will provide insurance to the hospitals or medical colleges where these people are going and having their healthcare checkup. Do you know insurance, right? So if you are working in any organized sector, you will be that company will be providing this insurance. Or else if you are paying any health insurance outside, They will also providing you the insurance if you are being admitted in the hospital. In the same way now, ESIC will be providing insurance for these workers who are working in this industrial sector and who are above 40 years. Every year, once in every year, they can go and they can have free health checkups, and for that ESIC will be taking care of insurance now. Okay, so what all will be included in this test is, the first one is they will be checking their blood profile will be done, like if they are having the proper liver function or kidney function or about anemia, CBP, if they are having any other underlying medical conditions, they will do blood test. And if it is related to the heart, you know about this ECG, they will do ECG. Or else if there is any TB or lung related disorders, to identify that, chest X-ray is very important. And next one is they will be also seeing any other political health issues out there, like bone deformities. Nowadays, spondylitis is commonly seen, stiffness in neck and as well as lumbar dysfunction like that. So here they will be also doing that kind of checks. And next one here is if they are working in dangerous conditions like mining or any other things. So they will be also seeing about the toxic materials which are present in their body if they are working in toxic environments. Okay, so this is about our healthcare check. If you see about this ESIC, I think regarding this ESIC, once UPSC asked question in your PYQs, here you have to know even the facts related to ESIC, because now it is providing this much big opportunity for the workers who are working in this industry. That means you have to know this ESIC, what is this organization, when it is formed, what is the roles and responsibilities. So in that context, you may get a question on this. So here ESIC, it is a statutory body, it is not a constitutional body. It is statutory body means it will be established under an act, right? So which act led to establishment of this? We have Employees State Insurance Act of 1948. Under this ESIC had been established. And if you see the function, it will work under Ministry of Labor and Employment, very important. And this one here is, whenever this ESIC is providing insurance, employer contribution will be 3.25% of wages, and employee contribution is like 0.75%. And next one is, if they are earning less than 176 rupees per day, they are exempted. Okay. For example, now the laborers who are working in any factory, if they are getting less than 176 rupees per day, that means, for example, normally security people will be getting like very low salary. If they are getting low salary, there is no need of contribution from that worker to ESIC. They will be providing insurance free of cost. If they are getting salary more than 176 rupees per day, they have to contribute from their wage, and ESIC will be providing insurance. And if you see the next one here is who are applicable under this ESI Act here is, especially who are working in factories and other establishments who are employing around 10 persons. So all this will comes under this ESI, right? Okay, ESIC. So these are the some important facts you have to remember, guys. And let us see next article. Look at this article title, Advancing India South Korea Defense Innovation Ties. What is this article talking about? It is talking about India and as well as South Korea. Why this South Korea and India is in news? Because of visit of South Korean president to India. Okay. If any important personality from other countries who are visiting India, obviously in your editorials you will be getting articles related to that. So here you have to see about this visit, and here you have to see about what will be the outcomes of this visit. And one important point they are focusing here, it is about defense cooperation. Apart from this defense, we are also going to have lot more things to be talked in this meet. Okay, now let us see this. So this article is saying that this visit marks a significant step in elevating India-South Korea special strategic partnership, and we are going to sign multiple agreements after once this talk is done. So once this talk is done, we will be getting lots of articles like what exactly we did in this article. But as of now, we have to see what are the talks they are going to talk in this meet. The first one here is, we are going to enhance our trade and economic cooperation. First of all, where is South Korea located? Which part of our country it is located? In Asia or Africa, or in Asia only, right? It is sharing boundary with which country? North Korea. It is sharing land boundary only with North Korea. And what is the line demarcation between North Korea and South Korea? In international relations, we come across that. 39 parallel? Think once. Demilitarization line. Can you tell me in detail about that line? What is that line? And who brokered that line? No idea. USA. Yes, USA brokered this line between North Korea and as well as South Korea. Why there is always fight between North Korea and South Korea? Girls know more about Korean products, glassy skin. Come on. Okay, see about this demilitarization zone between North Korea and South Korea also. Why I am focusing on this line is recently blue line, yellow line, which are in news. So you may get a question on that. So this is also one disputed line between North Korea and South Korea. So you may get a question related to this all disputed lines in the world. So because of this, you have to know the major lines which are there in news. So this line is also will be often in news. So you have to know that between North Korea and South Korea. Recently we discussed about blue line. It is between Lebanon and Israel. And in CDS paper there is one line, Philadelphia corridor. It is between Philadelphia corridor. Have you seen the CDS paper? I said to see. Philadelphia corridor is between Egypt and see that once. Name is Philadelphia corridor. So mostly whatever the exams conducted by UPSC in that year, they will focus on most important areas only, right? So if you are thorough with that themes, sometimes may not be directly the question can be repeated, but sometimes the themes can be repeated. So you have to see that. For that reason only I said to see your CDS paper. In that paper there is one theme, that is Philadelphia corridor. See that once. Okay, now they are going to talk about trade and they want to restart CEPA, that is Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between India and as well as South Korea. And next one here is they want to go for increasing of bilateral trade and they want to increase business ties and they want to increase cooperation in critical technologies and supply chains as well. And next one is they want to improve even digital and industrial partnership as well. In industrial partnership, we are focusing on AI and semiconductors. Recently, there is one important initiative came up by US is in news related to semiconductors. What is that? India even signed that initiative. Pax Silica. So this time for sure you may get a question on Pax Silica. Okay, so how can you get a question here is Pax Silica is in news. It is related to what? That is a simple question. Or else you may get a statements based question like consider the following statements regarding Pax Silica. They will give you 2 to 3 statements. It is related to what? We should not depend on only some countries. We have to ensure supply chains of semiconductors and semiconductor related technology should be free and open for all. Even recently India, after our Republic Day celebrations, India joined this Pax Silica. And even one more initiative came up by US is in news. What is that one more initiative? Board of Peace. Yes, it is related to development of West Asia part. India did join this Board of Peace or not? No, India didn't join this Board of Peace. India has lots of questions related to this Board of Peace. So because of this, India didn't join, but India joined this Pax Silica. So like that, whatever the organizations or initiatives which will be in news, that will be also very important. Okay, here we are focusing on improving of collaboration AI, semiconductors and information technology. And we are focusing on increased digital cooperation AI and support for small medium enterprises. And we are also focusing on improving of maritime and as well as shipbuilding, because India has an ambitious mission of Maritime India Vision 2030. For this, obviously, we are developing our ports, we are developing the shipping and as well as logistics. Recently, whatever the age-old laws which are related to our ports had been replaced in 2025, because India has a mission called as Maritime Vision India. So, we want to improve our maritime sector operations. And next one here is we are focusing on even climate change and as well as maritime cooperation. Okay, next one here is we are also focusing on defense, guys. Okay, so that's it. Say this next first question. Consider the following statements regarding ESIC. First one is ESIC is administered under Ministry of Labor and Employment. So whenever you are getting ministries, you have to be careful. Obviously, 99% cases, there will be changing of ministries by UPSC. And next one here is ESIC provides benefits related to sickness, maternity, disablement and employment injury. Obviously, it will providing insurance for all this. No sickness, they will provide. For maternity leave, yes, they will provide. And for disablement, yes, they will provide. And as well as employment injury. And next one is ESIC is a constitutional body under Article 323A of Constitution. What about this Article 323 talks about? Tribunals. 323A talks about administrative tribunal. So, is that article talking about ESIC? No. This statement is right or wrong? Wrong. What will be the answer? 1 and 2 only. Okay, next see this question, guys. Consider the following statements regarding Royal Bengal tiger. It is scientifically known as Panthera tigris tigris. As I said, you have to remember scientific names also. It is found naturally only in India. Is this tiger present only in India? No. Sundarbans is one of the important habitats of Royal Bengal tiger. Yes, in Sundarbans we can see this. Because of this only, whenever we are going for restoration of our mangroves, this species will be also be getting conserved. So what is the answer? 2 is wrong, 1 and 3 is answer. Okay. So like that, whenever you are getting this kind of only, you have to be careful. And I said I will be taking a class on how to approach prelims questions, right? So I'll be taking tomorrow. Tomorrow afternoon will be your class. I will be showing lots of questions from 2020 to 2025, and I'll be telling you with proof like how you have to answer that kind of questions. Don't miss that class, guys. Okay? Online and offline students, especially GS Foundation students, don't miss that class. If you miss that class, for sure you will be losing 20 marks in your exam. Okay? I don't know whether I'll be taking that class next year or not. So whoever, even if you're not writing this year, you have to attend the class. And I need full attendance for that class for sure, guys. Tell your friends also. Okay, inform your friends. Okay, tomorrow I will be posting the time. It will be in the mostly afternoon session, 2:30 to 5 I will be taking that class. Okay. So that's all, guys. By this I'm concluding. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this class, please use the like button and please share this class to your friends. And if you have not yet been subscribed to our channel, please do subscribe, guys. And if you want to start your UPSC preparation, we launch a new batch from today itself, guys. You can join by at least by the end of this week. Try to join this course, guys. And if you have any queries or questions, or if you want to know more details of this course, please do contact us on this number 8074765513, guys. Thank you so much.